Good morning. Today you awaken with a choice. You can step forward into growth, success, and achievement, or you can stay stagnant, allowing fear and doubt to steal your dreams. The decision is yours. The moment your feet touch the floor, remind yourself, I am in control. I am the architect of my future. The power that shapes my destiny does not reside in luck or chance. It is within me. Hold fast to a definite purpose. A ship without a destination is doomed to drift, and so is a man without a clear goal. Define what you want, write it down, and let that vision burn so brightly in your mind that no obstacle can dim its light. Success begins in the mind. If you do not believe in your ability to achieve, you have already lost. But when you condition your thoughts with faith, you set an unshakable foundation for triumph. Every great achievement started as a single thought, nurtured by belief. Do not fear failure, for failure is merely a stepping stone toward success. Every setback carries within it the seed of an equivalent advantage. The only true failure is the failure to persist. Rise after every fall, push forward after every defeat, and know this: the man who refuses to quit will always outlast the man who hesitates. You must act. Ideas are worthless without action. Dreams will remain dreams unless you dare to pursue them with relentless energy. Let today be the day you stop waiting for the perfect moment. Take action now. Finally, banish fear from your heart. Fear is a shadow, an illusion that vanishes when confronted with courage. When fear whispers doubt, respond with boldness. Say to yourself, I am strong, I am capable, and I will achieve. Stand tall, take control, and walk into this day with unwavering confidence. Your destiny is waiting. Seize it. Secule. Here's an expanded version of definiteness of purpose, written in the motivational and commanding style of Napoleon Hill. Each morning when you rise before the world has a chance to shape your thoughts, you must seize control of your mind. You must set it on a course so definite, so clear, so unwavering that no force, whether it be doubt, distraction, or defeat, can turn you away from it. The man who begins his day without a definite purpose is like a ship without a rudder, drifting wherever the wind and waves may carry him. He is at the mercy of circumstance, reacting instead of directing, hoping instead of achieving, wishing instead of willing. Such a man lives in uncertainty, never knowing whether he is moving forward or merely running in circles, never understanding why success seems to favor others while eluding him. But the man who awakens with a clear and definite purpose moves with precision. He does not waste time on the unimportant. He does not allow distractions to pull him away from his path. His mind is a laser, cutting through obstacles with the force of his will. Every action he takes, every thought he entertains, every word he speaks is aligned with his definite objective. There is no hesitation in him, for he knows exactly where he is going and why he is going there. Definiteness of purpose is the starting point of all achievement. It is the foundation upon which all success is built. Without it, talent is wasted, effort is scattered, and potential is left unrealized. A man may possess intelligence, skill, and resources, but if he does not have a definite aim, he is like an archer shooting arrows without a target. He may release 1,000 shots, but not one will hit the mark, for he has not taken the time to define it. A definite purpose is more than a vague desire or an idle wish. It is a burning obsession, a goal so deeply ingrained in your being that it becomes a part of you. It is the force that drives you to rise before the sun, to work while others sleep, to persist when others quit. It gives meaning to your struggles, transforms obstacles into stepping stones, and turns failure into fuel for greater determination. It is not something you merely think about from time to time. It is something you live and breathe every moment of every day. There is no greatness without definiteness of purpose. Every man who has left his mark upon history, every man who has built an empire, every man who has risen from obscurity to power, has done so because he was driven by a single consuming goal. He did not waver. He did not divide his energies among 100 different pursuits. He chose his path and followed it with relentless determination, cutting away all that did not serve his mission. Most men fail, not because they lack ability, but because they lack direction. They drift from one thing to another, never committing fully to anything. They allow themselves to be pulled in different directions by the opinions of others, by temporary desires, by fleeting opportunities that distract them from their true path. They wonder why success remains out of reach, never realizing that they have not truly decided what they want. Success does not come to the man who merely hopes for it. It does not come to the man who waits for luck to favor him. It comes only to the man who has made up his mind, who has declared with absolute certainty, "This is what I will achieve and nothing will stop me." It comes to the man who has burned all bridges behind him, leaving himself no escape route, no option but to move forward. It comes to the man who has made his purpose the driving force of his existence. To develop definiteness of purpose, you must first ask yourself, what do I truly desire? What is the one thing I am willing to dedicate my life to achieving? It is not enough to answer with vague generalities. You must be specific. Do not say, "I want to be successful." Define what success means to you. Is it wealth? Is it influence? Is it mastery in your chosen field? Is it a contribution to humanity? Be clear, be exact, write it down. Let there be no uncertainty in your mind about what you are pursuing. Once you have identified your purpose, commit to it with all your heart and soul. Let no obstacle deter you. Let no failure shake your belief. Hold on to your vision with a grip so firm that nothing, no criticism, no setback, no difficulty can loosen your hold on it. Speak of it often. Write it down and read it daily. Let it be the first thought that enters your mind when you wake and the last thought you hold before you sleep. A definite purpose is not just a goal. It is a guiding principle, a force that directs your every decision and action. It gives you clarity when others are confused, courage when others are afraid, persistence when others surrender. It eliminates doubt, for doubt cannot exist where certainty reigns. It eliminates fear, for fear is powerless against the man who knows exactly what he wants and is willing to do whatever it takes to achieve it. Many men live and die without ever discovering their true purpose. They wander through life, settling for mediocrity because they never took the time to define what they truly wanted. They wait for inspiration, for opportunity, for the right moment, not realizing that the right moment is the moment they decide to take control of their destiny. Do not be one of those men. Do not waste another day drifting aimlessly, allowing life to push you in whatever direction the wind blows. Decide now. Choose your purpose. Commit to it fully. Let it be the fire that fuels your every action. Let it be the foundation upon which you build your future. The world does not reward hesitation. It does not reward indecision. It rewards the man who knows exactly what he wants and pursues it with unyielding determination. It rewards the man who stands up each morning and declares with absolute certainty, "This is my purpose, and I will not stop until I achieve it." Take control of your life. Define your purpose. Pursue it relentlessly. Everything you desire begins with that single unwavering decision. The mind is the master key to all success, and within it lies the power to shape reality according to your deepest desires. There is no force more powerful than the belief that something can be achieved. Every great success, every towering achievement, every seemingly impossible feat that has ever been accomplished was first made possible by one thing: faith. Not the passive kind of faith that wishes for good fortune, but the kind that sees beyond obstacles, the kind that commands the unseen forces of the universe to bend to its will, the kind that fuels action with an unshakable conviction. A man without faith is a man without power. He hesitates, he questions, he doubts, and in doing so, he weakens the very foundation of his potential. He looks at his dreams as distant, unreachable things, and so they remain just that, distant and unreachable. He allows his mind to entertain thoughts of failure, and failure responds by meeting him at every turn. He sees obstacles as signs that he should give up rather than test to prove his determination. He does not realize that success begins first in the mind, that belief is the seed from which all accomplishment grows. The man who understands the power of faith walks a different path. He does not merely wish for success, he expects it. He does not wait for opportunities, he creates them. He does not crumble under the weight of adversity. He strengthens his resolve and presses forward. He does not entertain thoughts of failure, for he knows that what the mind accepts as truth, the world must eventually reflect. His faith is not shaken by temporary setbacks, for he sees them only as stepping stones toward the inevitable realization of his vision. To believe in oneself is to command the forces of success to move in one's favor. When a man truly believes in his ability to achieve, he sets into motion an unseen energy that influences every action he takes, every decision he makes, and every opportunity that presents itself. He walks with confidence, speaks with certainty, and moves with purpose, for he knows that the power of belief has already determined the outcome. Others may doubt him, but their doubt has no effect, for his mind is impervious to disbelief. The only thing that can stop a man who possesses true faith is his own willingness to surrender it. Those who lack faith often call it luck when they see others achieving what seems impossible. They say success comes to those who are born into the right circumstances, those who have the right connections, those who have the resources that they themselves lack. But those who succeed know the truth. Faith is the greatest resource of all. It requires no wealth, no privilege, no inheritance. It is available to every man who dares to claim it, and it is the one thing that separates those who rise from those who remain where they are. Faith does not mean that difficulties will not arise. It does not mean that the road will be smooth or that challenges will disappear. Faith does not remove obstacles. It gives the power to overcome them. The man who truly believes in his purpose does not ask whether he will succeed. He asks how. He does not wonder if he will find a way. He creates one. Every time he encounters a roadblock, his mind does not see it as a reason to turn back, but as a puzzle to be solved. He does not dwell on failure, for he understands that failure exists only as a lesson, not as a permanent state. The greatest mistake a man can make is allowing doubt to take root in his mind. Doubt is the enemy of success, the destroyer of dreams, the silent force that turns potential into wasted opportunity. A single doubt can grow into a storm of uncertainty, causing hesitation, inaction, and ultimately failure. The man who allows doubt to govern his thoughts will never experience the full extent of his abilities, for he has already accepted the possibility of defeat. To rid the mind of doubt is to unlock a limitless potential. It is to step into the world each day with the knowledge that success is not just possible, but inevitable. Faith is not just a thought, it is a force. It is the inner conviction that something will happen long before it does. It is the belief that unseen forces are moving in alignment with your desires, even when no evidence exists to prove it. It is the knowledge that the only limits that exist are those the mind accepts, and that those who refuse to acknowledge limits will find ways to shatter them. Those who possess unwavering faith do not wait for the world to change. They change the world to fit their vision. Great men throughout history have known this truth. They were not always the strongest, the most intelligent, or the most privileged. But they all had one thing in common: unbreakable belief in their purpose. They walked the same earth as other men, but while others doubted, they decided. While others hesitated, they acted. While others looked at failure as an end, they looked at it as a necessary step toward success. Their faith gave them strength beyond measure, the kind of strength that does not fade in the face of hardship, the kind that does not bend under the weight of challenges, the kind that does not disappear even when everything seems lost. A man's belief in himself is his greatest asset. It is more valuable than money, more powerful than education, more influential than connections. It determines his fate more than any external factor, for all external factors are influenced by the thoughts he holds in his mind. The man who chooses faith over doubt, courage over fear, action over hesitation, will always find a way to succeed. He will attract the right people, the right circumstances, the right opportunities, because he has already decided that success belongs to him. There is no magic in faith, no mystical secret known only to a few. It is a choice. A man either decides to believe in himself or he does not. He either sees obstacles as temporary or he allows them to become permanent. He either moves forward with confidence or he allows fear to paralyze him. The mind will always reflect what it is fed. Those who fill their minds with doubt will see reasons to doubt at every turn. Those who fill their minds with faith will see possibilities where others see impossibilities. The choice is always there, and it is a choice that must be made every day. The moment a man allows faith to govern his thoughts, he has already taken the first step toward greatness. The moment he refuses to accept failure as final, he has already ensured his eventual success. The world may not yet see it, but the world does not matter. What matters is that he sees it. What matters is that he knows beyond any doubt that what he seeks is already his. Faith is the foundation, the fuel, the force that turns dreams into reality. The difference between the man who succeeds and the man who fails is not intelligence, talent, or luck. It is persistence. It is the ability to continue moving forward despite the obstacles, to keep pushing when the path is unclear, to hold on to a vision even when the world gives every reason to let go. The weak man is defeated not by his circumstances, but by his own surrender. The strong man triumphs not because the road was easy, but because he refused to stop walking it. Every great achievement, every towering success, every monumental breakthrough has been built upon the foundation of persistence. The man who persists understands that temporary failure is not permanent defeat. He does not retreat in the face of adversity, he advances. He does not allow fear to dictate his actions, he conquers it. He does not complain about the difficulty of the journey, he embraces it. For he knows that success is not granted to the man who merely wishes for it, nor to the man who makes only a half-hearted attempt. It belongs to the man who continues when others quit, who keeps digging when others have thrown away the shovel, who fights on when others have surrendered. There will always be reasons to quit. The world offers them freely. The doubters will tell you that the odds are against you. The failures of yesterday will whisper that you are not strong enough. The hardships of today will insist that it is easier to turn back. But the man who succeeds is the one who silences those voices and presses on, even when there is no sign of victory in sight. He understands that the darkest night comes before the brightest dawn, that the moment of greatest difficulty is often the moment just before the breakthrough. He does not stop digging because he cannot yet see the gold. He does not stop climbing because the peak is still hidden in the clouds. He does not stop running because the finish line is beyond his sight. Weak men look at obstacles and see reasons to give up. Strong men look at obstacles and see opportunities to grow stronger. They do not ask why the journey is hard. They ask how they can become tougher. They do not see failure as a sign to quit. They see it as a lesson to learn. They do not fear hardship. They welcome it, for they know that every struggle builds endurance. Every setback builds resilience. Every difficulty is a test of their commitment. And they are committed beyond doubt, beyond hesitation, beyond the possibility of surrender. There is no power greater than the man who has made up his mind that he will not quit. No storm can break him, no failure can defeat him, no obstacle can block him. He understands that every step forward, no matter how small, is progress. That every fall, as long as he rises again, is part of the path. That no effort is ever wasted, for even when the results do not appear immediately, the foundation is being built beneath the surface, and when the time is right, when the effort has compounded, when the unseen forces of the universe align with his persistence, success will come, not as a gift, but as a reward for the man who refused to stop. There are many who start the journey with enthusiasm, but few who finish it with victory. Enthusiasm fades when the first challenge arises. Excitement disappears when the road becomes steep. Passion is easy in the beginning, but persistence is what carries a man through to the end. The man who persists does not rely on fleeting motivation. He does not wait until he feels like continuing. He continues because he has already made the decision. His actions are not dictated by his emotions, but by his resolve. He does not wait for the conditions to be perfect. He acts despite the conditions. He does not wait for encouragement from others. He encourages himself. The man who persists is not concerned with how long the journey takes, for he knows that time is irrelevant to the man who refuses to quit. Some victories come quickly, others take years, but what matters is that he remains on the path. He does not measure progress by how fast he moves, but by the fact that he moves at all. He knows that many men have failed, not because they were incapable, but because they gave up too soon. He knows that the race is not always won by the fastest runner, but by the one who keeps running. He understands that persistence is not just about effort. It is about mindset. The weak man sees a wall and turns back. The strong man sees a wall and finds a way over it, under it, through it, or around it. The weak man sees a locked door and walks away. The strong man knocks until his hands bleed, breaks the door down if necessary, or builds his own door where none existed. The weak man sees failure as the end. The strong man sees it as a beginning. There is no challenge too great for the man who refuses to surrender. There is no dream too distant for the man who keeps moving toward it. There is no failure permanent enough to stop the man who gets back up one more time than he falls. The path to success is not a straight line. It is filled with detours, roadblocks, and unexpected twists. But those who reach the end are not the ones who had the easiest journey. They are the ones who refuse to stop walking. There will be times when the effort seems wasted, when progress feels invisible, when the goal appears no closer than when you began. These are the moments that separate those who succeed from those who fail. The weak man takes these moments as a sign that he should stop. The strong man takes them as a test of his determination. He knows that nothing worth having comes easily, that every victory is earned through patience, endurance, and relentless pursuit, that the true reward is not just in reaching the destination, but in becoming the man who was willing to endure the journey. The world belongs to the men who persist. The riches of life, the triumphs of success, the fulfillment of great achievement are reserved for those who refuse to turn back. There is no magic in persistence, no secret formula, no hidden knowledge. It is simply the willingness to keep moving forward when others have stopped. It is the decision made every single day that no matter what comes, no matter what happens, no matter how hard the path may be, the journey will continue. The greatest battles are not won by strength alone, but by endurance. The highest mountains are not conquered by speed, but by the refusal to stop climbing. The most extraordinary accomplishments are not achieved by those who never struggled, but by those who never surrendered. The rewards of life are not handed to those who wish, hope, or dream. They are claimed by those who persist, by those who push forward when everything around them tells them to quit, by those who understand that success is not for the man who starts the race, but for the man who finishes it. The mind is the master, the architect, the creator of all things seen and unseen. Every great achievement, every towering success, every fortune built and empire constructed began first as a thought. The invisible force of thought is the seed from which all reality grows, shaping destinies, commanding circumstances, and determining the limits of what is possible. The man who understands the power of his own mind holds in his hands the key to all success, for he knows that nothing can be created in the world without first being created in thought. A man is no greater than the thoughts he entertains. If his mind is filled with doubt, he will find failure at every turn. If he allows fear to dominate his thinking, he will live a life of hesitation and retreat. If he constantly dwells on obstacles, he will create more of them. But the man who fills his mind with power, with confidence, with a vision so clear that it burns like a fire within him, will see the world bend to his will. He does not merely hope for success, he thinks it into existence. He does not wait for opportunity, he creates it first in his mind and then in reality. He does not allow the past to dictate his future, for he understands that every moment offers him the chance to reshape his destiny by the thoughts he chooses to hold. Thought is the source of all action. No man ever achieved greatness without first thinking of greatness. No man ever built an empire without first seeing it in his mind's eye. No man ever rose above his circumstances without first refusing to accept them as permanent. The weak man believes that success is reserved for the lucky, that wealth is given only to those who inherit it, that power belongs to those born with privilege. The strong man knows that thought is the foundation of all things, that the man who controls his thoughts controls his fate, that what the mind believes, the world must eventually reflect. There are men who walk through life unaware of the force they hold within them. They allow their thoughts to be shaped by their environment, their beliefs dictated by their failures, their vision clouded by the doubts of others. They do not realize that every limitation they experience was first accepted in their own mind. They do not see that every great man who has ever lived has possessed nothing more than the ability to think beyond his present circumstances, to see beyond his failures, to believe beyond what others told him was possible. A man's world is nothing more than a mirror of his thoughts. If he believes himself weak, he will see proof of his weakness everywhere. If he believes himself poor, he will continue to experience lack. If he believes himself unworthy, he will find reasons to confirm that belief. But the man who decides with unwavering certainty that he is capable, that he is destined for greatness, that he will achieve all that he sets his mind to, will see the world shift to match that belief. The conditions may not change immediately, the results may not appear overnight, but the moment he takes control of his thoughts, he takes control of his future. Greatness is not a product of luck or chance. It is the product of deliberate, intentional thought. The man who rises to the heights of success does so not because the world handed him opportunity, but because he trained his mind to see opportunity where others saw none. He did not accept the limits imposed upon him. He did not allow failure to define him. He did not listen to those who said his dreams were impossible. Instead, he held firm to the vision he had created in his mind, nurturing it with belief, feeding it with determination, protecting it from the doubts that would have destroyed it. The man who masters his thoughts masters his destiny. He understands that he is not a victim of circumstance, but a creator of it. He does not allow his past to define his future, for he knows that each new thought is a chance to reshape what is to come. He does not entertain negative thoughts, for he knows they weaken him. He does not allow the fears of others to take root in his mind, for he knows that fear is an illusion. He fills his thoughts only with that which serves him, that which empowers him, that which pushes him closer to his vision. The world is filled with men who never rise beyond mediocrity, not because they lack ability, but because they never take control of their own thinking. They allow doubt to rule them, fear to paralyze them, failure to discourage them. They live their lives reacting instead of creating, believing instead of knowing, wishing instead of deciding. But those who understand the power of thought are different. They know that the mind is not just an observer of life, it is the builder of it. They know that their thoughts are the blueprints of their future. They know that what they hold in their minds today will become their reality tomorrow. No man can escape the consequences of his thoughts. The man who thinks in terms of failure will fail. The man who thinks in terms of struggle will struggle. The man who thinks in terms of limitation will be limited. But the man who dares to think in terms of success, who trains his mind to see only possibility, who refuses to entertain anything that weakens his resolve, will rise above all obstacles. The world will call him lucky, but he will know the truth. He created his own luck through the power of thought. A man cannot afford to be careless with his thinking. He must guard his mind as he would guard his most valuable treasure, for within it lies the power to shape everything he desires. He must choose his thoughts carefully, knowing that each one is a seed planted in the soil of his future. He must feed his mind only with ideas that strengthen him, that inspire him, that move him forward. He must reject doubt as he would reject poison, knowing that even the smallest seed of disbelief can grow into a mighty tree of failure. The greatest men in history were not those who waited for the world to change, but those who changed their own thoughts, and in doing so, changed the world. They understood that everything they desired, everything they sought to build, everything they wished to achieve first had to be created in the mind before it could be created in reality. They knew that thought was the origin of all things, the first step toward all success, the force that could transform the ordinary into the extraordinary. The man who understands the power of thought does not wonder whether he will succeed. He knows that he will. He does not hope for a better future, he creates it. He does not look to the world for permission, he looks only within himself. He does not see obstacles, he sees challenges to be conquered. He does not question whether he is worthy, he decides that he is. The power to shape his destiny, to command his future, to turn dreams into reality has been his all along. And the moment he claims that power, the world must yield to his vision. The world does not reward those who wait, those who hesitate, those who plan endlessly but never move. It rewards those who take action. The man who understands this truth possesses an advantage greater than intelligence, greater than talent, greater than any external resource. He understands that no dream, no vision, no plan has value unless it is backed by action. Thought is the beginning, but action is the force that brings thought into reality. No success has ever been achieved by mere wishing. No goal ever reached by mere hoping. It is action alone that determines the outcome of a man's life. There are those who dream but do nothing. They tell themselves that they will begin when the time is right, when they feel ready, when the circumstances are perfect. But the time is never right, the feeling of readiness never arrives, and circumstances are never perfect. So they wait, And while they wait, life moves forward without them. The man who takes action does not wait for the stars to align. He does not wait for the conditions to be ideal. He does not wait for approval, for permission, for the guarantee of success. He moves forward regardless. He understands that hesitation is the destroyer of opportunity, that inaction is the enemy of achievement, that every moment spent waiting is a moment lost forever. Great men throughout history were not those who merely thought about success, but those who moved toward it with relentless determination. They were not men who sat idle, hoping for fortune to favor them. They were men who created their own fortune through effort, through persistence, through decisive action. They understood that action is the bridge between desire and reality, the power that transforms dreams into accomplishments. They did not wait for motivation. They acted, and in acting, they created motivation. They did not let doubt control them. They took action in spite of doubt. They did not allow fear to hold them back. They moved forward even when fear whispered that they would fail. A man who fails to take action is a man who has already lost. He may have the grandest vision, the most brilliant ideas, the clearest plan, but none of it matters if he does not act. He may tell himself that he is preparing, that he is gathering knowledge, that he is waiting for the right opportunity. But preparation without execution is useless. Knowledge without application is wasted, and opportunity means nothing if it is not seized. The man who succeeds is not always the one who knows the most, nor the one who is the most gifted, nor the one who has the most favorable conditions. He is the one who moves forward when others hesitate. He is the one who dares to act while others remain frozen by fear. The world is filled with men who talk about what they will do but never do it. They speak of their ambitions, their plans, their dreams, yet they remain exactly where they are. They wait for certainty, for guarantees, for reassurance that they will not fail. But there is no certainty in life, no guarantee of success, no reassurance strong enough to remove all doubt. The only way to achieve anything is to act in spite of uncertainty, to move forward even when the outcome is unknown, to trust that action itself will create the path. The man who takes action does not wait for conditions to improve. He improves them himself. He does not complain about the obstacles in his way. He finds a way through them. He does not allow failure to stop him. He learns from it and presses on. He understands that success is not something that happens suddenly, but something that is built day by day, step by step, through consistent and relentless action. He does not fear mistakes, for he knows that mistakes are merely lessons in disguise. He does not allow setbacks to discourage him, for he knows that every step forward, no matter how small, brings him closer to his goal. The greatest enemy of action is overthinking. A man who thinks too much without acting will find himself trapped in a cycle of doubt, fear, and hesitation. He will analyze every possibility, consider every risk, imagine every way in which he could fail, until he convinces himself that the safest course of action is to do nothing at all. But safety is an illusion, and inaction is the greatest risk of all. The man who overthinks never moves forward. The man who acts, even imperfectly, always makes progress. There is no secret to success beyond this. Act. Move forward. Do what must be done, whether you feel like it or not. Take the first step and then take the next. Do not wait for inspiration. Create it through action. Do not wait for the perfect plan. Refine it as you go. Do not wait for everything to be certain. Certainty comes only through experience. The man who takes action creates momentum, and momentum is the force that carries him through difficulty, through doubt, through all the challenges that would have stopped a lesser man. A man who commits to action is a man who controls his destiny. He does not allow life to happen to him. He happens to life. He does not wait for circumstances to shape his future. He shapes his future through his decisions and his efforts. He does not waste time wishing for a better life. He builds one. The weak man waits for the right moment. The strong man takes action and makes the moment right. The weak man hesitates, afraid of failure. The strong man moves forward, knowing that failure is just another step toward success. The rewards of life do not go to those who wait. They do not go to those who hope, who wish, who dream without action. They go to those who move, who do, who take risks, who make mistakes, who learn, who adapt, who refuse to sit still while others hesitate. They go to the man who wakes up every day with a commitment to do what is necessary, to take action even when he does not feel like it, to push forward even when the road is uncertain. They go to the man who understands that success is not found in thought alone, but in the courage to act upon those thoughts. No man ever changed his life by waiting. No man ever built an empire by hesitating. No man ever achieved greatness by standing still. The world belongs to those who take action, to those who dare, to those who refuse to be paralyzed by fear. The path to success is not paved with intention, with planning, with dreams. It is paved with action, with effort, with persistence. The man who understands this truth, who lives by it, who commits himself fully to it, will find that nothing is beyond his reach, for he has claimed the greatest power of all, the power of action. Fear is the great thief of dreams, the silent destroyer of potential, the invisible force that holds men captive, preventing them from reaching the heights they were destined for. It whispers lies of inadequacy, paints illusions of danger, and builds walls where none truly exist. It is the unseen chain that binds men to mediocrity, convincing them that risk is too great, that failure is too painful, that the unknown is too terrifying to explore. But the man who refuses to bow before fear, who rises against it with unwavering resolve, who looks it in the eye and moves forward despite it, is the man who claims victory over life itself. Fear is not real. It is a creation of the mind, an illusion born from doubt, a shadow cast by uncertainty. It has no power except that which a man gives it. The weak man surrenders to it, allowing it to dictate his choices, to shrink his ambitions, to paralyze his will. He mistakes fear for truth, allowing it to control his actions, to limit his potential, to rob him of the greatness that lies within him. But the strong man understands that fear is nothing more than a test, a challenge to be faced, an obstacle to be overcome, a fire through which he must walk to emerge stronger than before. A man who allows fear to rule him is a man who is already lost. He may have the grandest vision, the clearest goals, the most brilliant mind, but if he is unwilling to act because of fear, he will remain trapped where he stands. He may tell himself that he is being cautious, that he is waiting for the right time, that he is gathering more information, but beneath it all lies the simple truth. He is afraid. He is afraid of failure, afraid of rejection, afraid of stepping into the unknown. And so he does nothing. He waits. He hesitates. He watches as others move forward while he remains stuck in the prison of his own making. The man who succeeds is not the man without fear, but the man who acts in spite of it. He feels the same doubts, the same uncertainties, the same hesitation, but he does not allow them to control him. He understands that fear is merely a signal, a test of his resolve, a question posed by life itself. How badly do you want it? The weak man answers by retreating. The strong man answers by pressing forward. He does not wait for fear to disappear before taking action. He takes action, and in doing so, fear disappears. He understands that the only way to conquer fear is to confront it, to step into it, to move through it with unwavering determination. Fear is the guardian of success, standing at the entrance of every great achievement, challenging those who dare to claim what is rightfully theirs. It is not there to stop a man, but to test whether he is truly ready. The man who turns back at the first sign of fear was never meant for greatness, for greatness belongs only to those who are willing to fight for it. The man who walks through fear, who refuses to let it dictate his path, who faces it head on and moves forward despite it, is the man who will claim the rewards that life has reserved for the bold. Every great man who has ever lived has faced fear. Every conqueror, every innovator, every leader has stood at the edge of uncertainty, feeling the weight of doubt pressing against him. But he did not let it stop him. He knew that the greatest treasures lie beyond the greatest fears, that the road to success is guarded by the shadows of uncertainty, that the only way to build true strength is to face the things that threaten to break him. He knew that courage is not the absence of fear, but the decision to move forward despite it. A man who fears failure will never succeed. A man who fears rejection will never be accepted. A man who fears the unknown will never discover his true potential. Fear does not keep a man safe, it keeps him small. It does not protect him, it imprisons him. It does not shield him from harm, it prevents him from truly living. The only way to break free is to act, to move, to refuse to be held back by the chains of doubt and hesitation. The man who waits for fear to vanish before taking action will wait forever, for fear does not leave until it has been conquered. The world is filled with men who allowed fear to steal their dreams. They look back on their lives with regret, wishing they had taken the chances they once had, wishing they had been bold enough to pursue the things they truly desired. They realize too late that fear was never real, that the dangers they imagined were only illusions, that the risks they avoided were the very things that could have led them to success. They see with painful clarity that the life they could have lived was just on the other side of the fear they refused to face. But the man who refuses to let fear control him will know no such regret. He will move forward when others hesitate. He will take risks when others play it safe. He will step into the unknown when others retreat into the familiar. He will live fully, boldly, fearlessly, knowing that every great achievement, every grand adventure, every extraordinary success belongs only to those who dare to reach for it. There is no secret to overcoming fear beyond this act. Move forward. Do the very thing you are afraid of. Walk into the fire, knowing that it will not burn you, but forge you into something stronger. Refuse to let fear dictate your choices. Refuse to let it control your destiny. Refuse to let it rob you of the life you were meant to live. The man who understands this truth, who embraces it, who lives by it, will find that fear has no real power over him. He will find that the moment he takes action, the fear that once seemed so overwhelming begins to fade. He will find that beyond fear lies everything he has ever desired. No man is born fearless, but every man has the power to become so. The choice is his, to live a life ruled by fear or to rise above it, to remain trapped by hesitation or to break free through action, to surrender to doubt or to step forward with unshakable confidence. The rewards of life belong not to the man who wishes, who hopes, who dreams, but to the man who dares, who acts, who refuses to let fear stand in his way. Fear is the test that separates the ordinary from the extraordinary, the weak from the strong, the hesitant from the bold. It is not meant to stop a man, but to prove how much he desires what lies beyond it. The man who refuses to let fear dictate his actions, who moves forward despite the trembling, despite the doubt, despite the uncertainty, is the man who will rise above all obstacles. The rewards of life do not belong to those who wait for fear to vanish, but to those who charge forward in its presence. Beyond every fear lies the success, the freedom, the greatness that was always meant to be his. Let him act. Let him move. Let him step forward with unwavering resolve, and he will find that fear was never real to begin with. It was only the final gate he had to walk through to claim the life he was destined for.